What's up guys? So this video is going to be probably on the longer side. I really just want to take some time and go through some detail about the journey that I've been going through with my son Eli and his skin. So if you see me glancing down, it's because I have a notebook. I just want to make sure that I have the timeline right and all the information to give you. So anyway, we'll just jump right into it. My second born, he's actually allergic to nuts, and then he also suffers from really severe eczema. So Eli right now is 2, and he actually turns 3 next month. So we've been dealing with this for almost 2 years now. So we found out that Eli was allergic to nuts right before his first birthday. He was given a peanut butter cookie at his daycare, and it just happened to be a half day. And ironically enough, I'd actually packed him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch as well, but he never ate it. He had the cookie. When I went to go pick him up, he had like a few little hives behind his ear. And by the time I got him home, which was like 10 minutes later, he was like fully broken out into hives all over his face, around his neck, like his arms, his back, his legs, his groin. Like I took pictures of them, which I think I lost because a whole bunch of stuff got erased off my phone. I'll have to see if I can find them. If I find them, I'll put them here. But anyway, long story short, thankfully it did not affect his breathing. We just gave him Benadryl. So anyway, yeah, he found out he was allergic to nuts. We took him to the doctor. It turns out that he has a class 4 allergy to peanuts and class 2, which is just moderate, for tree nuts. When we moved here when he was 15 months, and ever since we got to Canada, his skin just progressively got worse. You know, I have dry skin naturally, and so he's always kind of had like dry skin and stuff, but I think the air here is so dry that it just made it worse. And so over time, he's always constantly scratching. It got to the point where he actually had like scars and scabs all up and down his arms, and it spread like to around his neck. His face, he had like a constant like rash on his face, his back and his stomach, and then like also like on his rear and in his groin area. And so because of the areas that he had like the rashes and he was constantly scratching, I thought, well, maybe he has another allergy. And I don't know, just from the symptoms and things like that. I have a friend who's studying nutrition, and she said to me it's probably gluten. And so I was just thinking, like, I do not want to be that parent that's like, oh, my kid is allergic to nuts, he's allergic to gluten, like, you know, just having all these specialties that you need to cater to, you know, for your child. I went through a time of just really having to deal with that and come to grips with, okay, maybe he is allergic to gluten. Like, should we get him tested? Should we just cut it out and see how it works, or, you know, whatever. So at one point I thought, well, maybe he just has like leaky gut syndrome. And so I don't know if you know anything about leaky gut, but in order to heal it, there's like a process that can take anywhere from like 1 month to like 6 months. And it's a diet that is mainly just bone broth and a lot of like foods that have quite a bit of nutrition to help heal the lining of your gut. And I'm just thinking to myself, as much as my son loves to eat, that would be absolute torture for him to have to go through that for like 6 months, you know. But anyway, so we ended up taking him to a homeopathy doctor in October, and she gave us a couple of medications. One is called a bowel nosode. It's pretty much designed to kind of do something similar as what leaky gut would do, but it's supposed to heal the lining of your gut and your bowels. And because the lining of your gut reproduces every 2 weeks, she gave me 2 rounds, you know, 1 pellet for every 2 weeks, just to make sure that we got a full...
Sorry.
He thinks I'm boring. Just to make sure we got a full cycle of, you know, the reproduction cycle of his gut. So we got that. And then she also gave us something called arsenicum album, and he's supposed to take 2 of those every day, and that's supposed to be like, it's one of the most basic forms of like natural remedies that homeopathy doctors will give. It helps with asthma, different allergies, food poisoning, skin issues, the flu, like you name it, like it can help. So she gave us that to help kind of with his skin and to start healing the skin. So she gave us those. She said, like with the Balnozode, try to have him be gluten-free, just in case it is the gluten. You know, have him be as gluten-free as possible. Like, you don't have to be strict or anything, but do that. So we went ahead, we did that. We saw her again in 4 weeks. And then we came back to her, and he seemed to be doing better. It definitely wasn't like all the way clear. I mean, he had holes, literally like holes in his skin that would not heal. And like, I remember at one point we were wrapping them. We would put, you know, coconut oil on them and then actually wrap them in saran wrap and then put long sleeves on him so he didn't scratch at night. But anyway, so we saw her again in 4 weeks. She kept us going on the arsenicum album, and then she also gave us another medication called lycopodium. And lycopodium is also known as club moss or vegetable sulfur, and it's designed to help the liver. So he was supposed to take the arsenicum album twice a day and one of the lycopodium every day. And so then she said, come back and see me in another 4 weeks, or sorry, in another 2 weeks. So we did that. We didn't really see much of a difference. And so I was thinking to myself, well, I felt bad because I was like, well, maybe I should have done like completely gluten-free. Like when we did it, it was like right around Halloween. You know, it was right around, you know, the time of Canadian Thanksgiving is in October and stuff. So I just didn't want him to, I guess, feel left out and not be able to eat, like, because he loves to eat. So I asked her, I said, you know what, can we do another Balnozode? And just like, I'll make sure that we do a strict gluten-free diet, you know, and we'll see how it goes. So she gave us more for that. She gave us more of the arsenicum album, more of the lycopodium, and then she also added sulfur to it. And he was supposed to take, I think it was 3 of those once a week until we ran out. And so one thing I didn't know was that sulfur is actually the 3rd most important mineral that you have in your body, and so it actually helps to create the amino acids that you need for like your proteins and your cells and everything, and to really help bind like your skin and muscles and stuff like that. So it wasn't until he got on that we saw a difference within a week. And this was also the time where we went back home to the States. So this was at the beginning of December, and while we were there in the States, we were actually staying at my parents' house, and they have an ion, and what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. It makes ionized water, so, or alkaline water. So while we were there, he was drinking 100% alkaline water, and we were there for 2 weeks. So I would say we got there on a Sunday. Within 24 hours, his skin had improved tremendously. And so I think it was just a combination. It's kind of hard to tell. It could have been the medication. It could have been the air. It could have been the water. We don't really know. And at first we were just applying Vaseline. Once we got there, we actually bought some African shea butter, which like I haven't been able to find here in this part of Canada, but we've been applying that, and his skin has cleared up so much. He's still got a few scars and things like that. His elbows are still on the dry side, but for the most part, like it's completely healed up. So we actually never ended up doing a second Balnozode. I honestly think the sulfur is what really helped him the most, that and the water. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what's been going on with him, how we're keeping up with his skin. I'll probably do another update in a couple of months, just to see like how the spring and summer is going, and if like his scars go away and things like that, and if he's still scratching and all that jazz. So anyway, let me know in the comment section below if any of your kids, or if you have eczema, how you deal with it with your kids. What are some of the remedies that you guys use? Any help, I'm always open, you know, to taking tips and stuff like that, because I surely don't know everything. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll talk to you next time.